Welcome, everybody, to another episode of Connect the Knox. I'm Julia Hurley, your hostess with the mostest, connecting Knoxville to the nation. Today, we have a massive surprise for you. One of my absolute favorite people that if you have never attended a University of Tennessee football game, you have to now. This season's your season. We're going to be winning anyway. And this is the guy you want to meet. Everybody meet Santa Vols. Thank you for being with us today.
Thank you for asking me. Thank you for having me. Just glad to be here.
We're so happy to have you here. Honest to goodness. So we were just talking pre-recording. We were talking where my season tickets are for the football games. And you walk around the stadium and let people take pictures with you. And you're hyper involved in UT athletics. But you've never made it over to the student athlete family section, which is where our tickets are. So this year that's going to have to change. We're going to have to get you to our tailgate as well. So tell us a little bit about how Santa Vols came to be.
I mean, I don't want to say it was just on a lark, but it was nothing that was predestinated, planned, or anything like that. If you remember, I'm going to showing my age here, but you go back 20 or 25, 30 years ago, and that's when they first started seeing the Santa hat in team colors. Well, I thought, what would happen if I had a whole Santa suit orange? Well, then fast forward a few years, and I just decided I was going to see if I could find one. I found one online, ordered it, and it came out looking more kind of burnt orange, kind of horns down, the wrong color, but it was the only one I had. So I wore it to the Vanderbilt game in 2015. In that time, I made the Facebook, I made a Twitter, didn't really think anything about it till I wore it to the game, and the reception was just incredible. I thought it would be fun to do the last game of the season, right before Thanksgiving, getting into Christmas, Then that year we went to the Outback Bowl. So I asked my mother, who does a lot of my suits, I said, hey, do you think you could make a short sleeve summer version? And she said, I could probably do that. So I wore it to the Outback Bowl when we beat Northwestern. And then it just kind of blew up from there. I mean, it was just, originally I was going to do this maybe one, maybe two games a season. But then as I would get messages on Facebook and Twitter, I would get more people, hey, are you going to be at this game? Well, yeah, but it's September. It's going to be hot. Well, I'm bringing my daughter. Okay, I'll dress up.
You're kind of an icon in the tailgating world, honestly. Every game we see you at, we're like, oh, there's Santa Vols. We got to go find him and get a picture. I mean, you have literally become a legend at UT Athletics. Does that get you any extra anything? Do you get better season tickets, or do you get invited to anything?
Officially through the school, no. Now, with that, I have been able, a lot of the former players really enjoy it. I've been down pregame. I've been able to get into the Letterman's room and hang out with the former players and former coaches a couple of times. And that's really cool. But I'm still just a big fan that just has to be a goofy guy that wears a Santa suit. So any perk that comes with that's great. I was trying to think of how to word it. The last coach that we can't speak of that was here, I was invited to be the official Santa for their coach's Christmas party. So that was pretty cool. We won't name names, but that was pretty neat. I got to, just go act like I belong and hang out in the Santa suit and get to visit with their kids and coaches, and it was fun.
In the history that I can remember of all the coaches that we have been through, there are only three that I mentioned. So, there's only three people that actually coached in my mind at UT. The rest of them were just kind of All right. You have been attending UT games since 1985. That's a long time. Tell us about that.
First game that I saw was in 1985, and my mom and dad and a couple of friends came to the Vanderbilt game, which was one of the, and I didn't think about it at the time until somebody pointed it out just a few weeks ago. At that game, we beat Vanderbilt 30-0, and then stormed the field and tore down the goalpost. And somebody was like, we tore down the goalpost after beating Vanderbilt? It was the game that clinched the SEC championship for us that year when we went on to beat Miami in the Sugar Bowl. So it wasn't Vandy. It was the culmination of the season. And since then, we saw at least one game every year since then. Then when they, and again, showing my age, when they closed in the north section, the upper deck, we got season tickets in 95, and we've been up there ever since.
I love to hear fan stories. We have, 103,000 seats, down from 110,000 with our new VIP section, which is stunning, by the way. The new section is amazing. Some of the things that we've been able to do. But on any given Saturday in the fall at University of Tennessee, Knoxville, there's 200,000 people there, hands down. Even people, they come to tailgate even if they don't get to go to the game. I've never seen more happy and supportive fans than at UT Knoxville. Just never. So I love to hear that. Let's see here. You have two daughters, and you've been married to your wife since 1995. Is she Mrs. Claus? Do we have like a whole family we're not aware of?
She doesn't do the dress up. When my daughters were little, they would a little bit, but now they're both old enough that, yeah, it's kind of cool, but it's embarrassing at the same time. So I get it.
I get it. I think, as an adult and someone who cherishes fandom, and we all love to see you at the games, I think at this point you probably have like a trademark situation that you could possibly put in. I don't know.
Yeah, I thought about looking into it, but I don't know the ins and outs. I need a manager.
Yeah, I would agree. So tell us about your children's hospital and kind of some of your volunteerism in the Knoxville market, because that's really important.
Yeah, a couple years ago, I was at my mom's house, not in Santa costume, and I get a message on Twitter from Josh Dobbs. And I'm like, okay, this is cool. I know Josh, but I don't know Josh. And it just said, hey, Santa, if you would give my mom a call, and had a phone number. And I'm like, okay. So that year, he wasn't able to make it, but he had bought a ton of presents and he wanted to pass out to the children's hospital. So me and his mom and dad went through and visited every child that we could get into. I mean, of course, there were some that you weren't able, for whatever their illness was. But we visited every child, gave every child a toy for Christmas, took pictures, and it was one of those. I never understood the word humbling until I started doing this. And then I kind of get that, it really makes you appreciate, things you take for granted.
Do you work at all with Legends of Tennessee on their Christmas events?
I did. This year I worked with the volunteer club. They did a Christmas with the basketball team, and I was there with some of the players. That was pretty cool.
Yeah. Going back to Josh Dobbs, he is involved in so many things still here in Knoxville. I don't know if people realize how involved and giving he really is, and still here in the Knoxville market. I mean, he was at kickball with Kurt Majit, and he has been there every season to contribute and play. And he always shows up for the Knoxville market. And so including you in that was huge. Also, just a PS, these football players, they really do randomly text you on Twitter or Instagram with a phone number and a question, and you're saying to yourself, is this really you?
Yeah, going back to the first year that I dressed up, that just done the 2 games, that summer, I just had the Facebook and the Twitter. I now got Instagram and TikTok, but I don't know what I'm doing. But I'm driving down the road and my phone buzzes, and I glance down, and it says, message from Chip McCallum. In my brain, I'm going, the only Chip McCallum I know kicked for UT back in the early 90s. This is crazy. So I get to where I'm going. I get my phone, don't text and drive. And he's like, hey, Santa, this is Chip McCallum. I kick for the Vols. I'm like, I know who you are. And then the text is like, are you going to be at the Alabama game? And I'm like, well, yeah, but I'm probably not going to dress up. I mean, I'm still thinking I'm just going to do it once or twice a year. Well, if you come to the game, my daughter wanted to meet you, and I could get you down because it's Letterman's reunion. I could get you down to the Letterman's area, and you can meet, Coach Majors and former players. So, well, I guess I'm dressing up then. I mean, that's pretty simple. But yeah, I'm going to be real good friends with Chip, and then Jabari Davis and Chris Treese. You mentioned the Legends earlier. I do help out with them as much as I can. Haven't really done any official events with them, but I'll just kind of show up and crash theirs. Uninvited, not invited. Don't have to be invited. I don't know at this point.
Jabari and Chris do so much for the community. I find that a lot of the former players, Derek Furlow does so much with SLB. And Jabari and Chris have done an amazing stint with the past and current players, coaching all over the state of Tennessee and the Southeast for their camps. So I know that is a connection that they would like to continue with you. Tell us more about when you're on campus dressed. Is this like a full on Santa suit? Meaning, is this like hardcore wool? It is like 95 degrees outside for the first home game coming up. What are you? I mean, tell us about how often you're dressed up. Is it special occasion games only? Like now, the home game for Alabama, definitely you're going to have to be there. Tell us more.
It went from I was just going to do it like the last game of the season. Then I decided, well, I could do it for just the big games. And now I do something every game. I've got a Hawaiian shirt that's Santa and Tennessee themed. So I've got like the Santa Hawaiian shirt I may wear for early games. I've got a short sleeve version of this suit. I'm not sure. It's not wool, but it's not thin. I'm not sure what the material is, but yeah, I've got a dark mode suit for the Music City Bowl a few years ago. I had my mom create a smoky gray suit, so when they roll those back out, I've got it already waiting. So I've got a suit for just about every color other than white, because Santa can't wear a white suit trimmed in orange. That would look weird and get dirty. But for the most part, if it's an early game, it's probably going to be orange shorts with a Hawaiian themed or a Santa themed Hawaiian shirt, or maybe just the short sleeved and Santa summer suit, I call it. But then once we get into October, depending if it's a night game, even if it's early in the season and warm, I can get by with it at night. The worst part's the hat. I tell everybody, it truly, they tell you in the wintertime, the hat holds in all the heat. It does. The suit itself, it's not as bad even when it is that hot. Your body just kind of regulates and get used to it. But the hat, I just sweat and sweat and sweat.
So you didn't graduate from UT?
No, ma'am. My dad was just a huge UT fan. He coined the term sidewalk alumni. I guess that's fitting because, we never really went to class, but we've been on sidewalks a lot walking around. So
we all know that real estate is location, location, location.
Our team at Just Homes Group has the true expertise, pairing buyers and sellers with the right opportunities.
Whether you're looking to buy or sell a home right here in Knoxville,
Lenoir City, Clinton, or Farragut, we have the expertise throughout every Knoxville surrounding area. Call Just Homes Group today.
Again, I also did not graduate UT, and we now are season ticket holders to every possible purchased sport at the University of Tennessee and members of the Shareholders Society. So we have fully purchased orange. At such a level, half of my closet is now the University of Tennessee's original Pantone orange, which you're wearing, and I love. Almost a yellow orange, which makes it a very different color. It's absolutely stunning. What are your thoughts as such a fan? What are your thoughts on this year adding schools to the SEC? How's that going to affect us coming up? And how do you feel that's going to affect the SEC as a whole?
I don't want to say I'm against adding schools because I like getting away from the conferences. I didn't like the East-West because if the two best teams happen to be, and I'll just say in the West, so I'm not plain biased, but if the two best teams happen to come out of the same conference, they should play in Atlanta. So I think that's one advantage we've got here. Someone was asking me earlier what I thought about the season, and I said, honestly, I don't know game by game, but I feel like, 11-1, 10-2 regular season is possible. With that, like I said, I don't want to get into what game we might lose, but I honestly think we could see whoever wins in Athens turn around and then play in Atlanta, the same two teams for the championship, because I think it's going to be that, going to be that stacked. I think Oklahoma and Texas, more Texas than Oklahoma, is going to have a kind of a learning curve. I think Oklahoma seems to be coming into it with, hey, thank you for having us. We're glad to be here. Where Texas is kind of coming in, flexing their We're Texas muscle. And I don't know that they're going to get the reception exactly, horns down. Yeah, I think it'll be fun. In a perfect world, I'd go back to 1933 and still have Swanee and Georgia Tech in the league with us. I mean,
Especially talking about this the other day, like what schools would we add? And I said, I want Virginia Tech. I have always wanted Virginia Tech. I love Virginia Tech's colors. I like how they feel. I like their fan base. They're respectful. And they bring in a different level of other sports, like their gymnastics program is huge for the SEC. Their rowing program is huge for the SEC. They bring in more athletic ability other than football, but their football program is also outstanding. So adding the fan base to it and their educational system, the ability to have the SEC grow financially in all sports, I think Virginia Tech would be an amazing add. I could definitely go without FSU. I couldn't care less about FSU. I didn't really want the Aggies, but here we are. I understand the ad. Didn't love it. But everybody has their space in SEC sports. I feel like we're probably going to go to losing a whole conference. I mean, there's a very specific conference that's been just chopped all to heck. I don't know where they're going to go from here. But I don't really know if they have any choice other than to add to the power base of the SEC. I mean, we continue to lead in almost every sport.
Yeah, and I think, the writing's on the wall where eventually there might just be two conferences, and I don't know, God forbid we change the name, but I mean, I could see the Big Ten, who's got 18 schools, but they're still the Big Ten, and the SEC just being the two main conferences and just, the other schools still playing, and people, think that's going to take away. You're still going to have the bowl games because the teams that are, run-of-the-mill good every 5 or 10 years, they're still going to be excited to go to a bowl game. The teams that are supposed to be really good, somebody gets hurt, they have a season where they finish, 8-4, 9-3 instead of the 11-1s. They're still going to want that bowl game to get practice, get playing time in. So last year where you had the teams opting out of the bowls because they didn't get the playoffs, I think that's just kind of a one-off. I don't think that's anything that's going to stick permanently because the coaches recognize they need the extra practice.
Well, let me get your opinion on NIL while I've got you here. Somebody that's been such a huge fan and been involved in all the athletics, and you're obviously an icon for the University of Tennessee athletic department. Hopefully they start inviting you to some cool things in this podcast. You're definitely an icon in the fan base. What is your opinion on NIL and where that's going to take the college sports arena?
I really think, and the guys over at the Spire Group got on it for UT quick, and I really think it's helped us, and I think some other schools are probably looking to see what we've done. I'm not one of the old heads that are like, man, I can't believe they're paying these guys. The guys should have been getting paid. They're getting, every weekend they're out there risking life and limb. The coaches are making money, crazy money. I don't know. Does it need to be better regulated? Maybe. You don't need, you hear like somebody had a $20 million contract or something. Okay. I find it hard to believe that any group in college paid a kid $20 million. I can't find that in my head. It don't make sense. But, does it need to be where, certain positions get X amount, other positions get other amount? That's fine. But the main thing I like about it is it just makes it easier for the student athlete to be able to go through things without having to worry about it. I mean, you hear the stories from the 80s and 90s where, somebody was hungry. The coach gave them money to go buy a hamburger. Well, then they're under investigation. Okay, well, was it really, it was just for buying a hamburger? I mean, that seems a bit strange. But at the same time, it really helps the fans be able to reconnect. Kid can get paid $1,500 to show up at a store for 2 hours and take pictures and sign autographs. Why shouldn't he be able to? I mean, it's America. So I think from that point, it really helps the athletes get through college a little easier, We've all been broke college students at one time or another, and it's not fun, especially if you don't have anything that you can.
Yeah, especially broke. I mean, it's just really not a fun time. These kids literally are sacrificing 15, 16-hour day currently in fall camp, up and training by 5:30 a.m., check-ins. School starts next week, and their last check-in is 9:30 p.m. So these kids, 5:30 a.m. to 9:30 p.m., coaching, game time, playbooks, practice, weightlifting, dietitian, all the things that relegates a physical person's ability to leave and have freedom to be in and out of a space. They don't have that right now. They're giving all of that to us as fans every single day, laying it on the line. So I agree they should be able to be paid. And I like that some of the previous athletes have been able to be paid. And I love that EA Sports started paying the kids to be on their games. I think that we're starting to see more of a respect for the ability and the beat of your actual body. I think there are enough athletes now that are older that recognize the sacrifice and the pain that your body will go through in all sports, and they're happy to see these kids get paid. So I agree with that. I think Spire Sports definitely set the tone. I think that anybody in the Knoxville market who is looking to possibly compete with that, or any other school looking to compete with that, needs to possibly take that model into consideration. I know that the SEC is moving more toward a profit share system possibility. That's been a conversation. I think that'll be very interesting to watch, kind of like the NFL and the NBA. We'll see what happens. But always finding it interesting that an individual such as yourself's contribution in the local market has made such an impact on the fan base. What are your plans, let's say, for the next season? Do you have like a schedule of you're available at this game, you'll be at this tailgate, or people can come to this specific place to get pictures with you during this time? Or you'll be at this not-for-profit event for conversations and pictures. Do you have a set schedule this year?
Not really. I know, and nothing's official, but generally every year, the last home game, I will do something with the Vols shop on game day where it just makes it a little easier for people to get in to get, and again, that's kind of Thanksgiving going into Christmas. It makes a little more sense. Otherwise, generally, I'm usually up around the torchbearer. I've just discovered that's the easiest spot to get candy canes handed out to players. Right where they get off the buses, they haven't had time to split up much, and that's been an easier way. I've been there doing that for the past 2 or 3 years. As far as visiting tailgates, I always get asked, and honestly, I would love to be able to get around as many as I could, but it's just literally on game day, I can't move. If I'm at one spot, if I start walking, I will be able to go. I can walk 15, 20 minutes fine until somebody breaks the ice and stops me for a picture. And then once that happens, I'm in that spot for 15, 20, 30 minutes taking pictures. And I'm not going to walk off. I mean, you got to take pictures as long as people want them, especially, because I'm still getting understanding. I'm just a guy in a Santa suit. I'm not really understanding why people want pictures with me. And then the only drawback for folks is for the second home game, I believe it's Kent State. We started a couple years ago. My wife wants to go to just one game with Morgan instead of Santa. So I will go incognito so she don't have to put up with the Santa hubbub. And I usually pick like a smaller game earlier in the season so it won't affect anything. But Santa will not be at the Kent State game. So.
Gotcha. Well, we'll be on the lookout for Santa Ball. Be on the lookout to make some connections for you and with you to some larger tailgates, maybe get you paid to be at some events, and see if we connect you with some different people. Because again, this podcast is called Connect the Knox, and that's what we sure plan on doing. And we really appreciate your time, energy, effort, and volunteerism. That's what we're all about here in the volunteer state. And it's really important to see people like you motivate other fans to continue to support our players and our coaches all across all sports at UT. We really appreciate you so much for contributing, you, your family, for allowing you to do that as well and supporting that endeavor. Is there anything that you would like to say to anybody, a way to connect with you, follow you on Instagram, social media, TikTok? Tell us where people can find you and support you.
Yes, ma'am. On Instagram and Twitter, or X, I guess, it is Santa_Vol, no S, just Santa_Vol. And both of those, I've got a link tree up that will take you to my TikTok and to my Facebook. Facebook has so many different things at the end of the address, I can never remember it. If you only have Facebook, if you just go in and search Santa Vol, you'll see, I think right now it's set up, you'll see a giant number 9 wearing a Santa hat. This is the 9th year that I've done my Santa Ball countdown to kickoff, which we didn't even talk about. Every year, and I started this, I guess the second year that I started wearing the suit, but every year from August 1st until the first day of kickoff, I've got a different autographed item that I will give away. Just go in and follow, and it's like, hey, if you want this, comment, and I tie something into the player. And today, I can't remember who it is today, but I'm going to have that drawing to find out who that is, then I'll get it posted today. And it's just every year, and that's one thing that I've started doing. I know where a lot of the guys tailgate that played in the late 80s, early 90s, and I will literally, I've stopped doing even football cards. I'll just find a picture online and print it myself and get them to autograph it. And a lot of times, if I don't have something for them to sign, they'll be ragging on me like, why can't I sign this week? And I'm like, dude, I've got like 6 of your autographs. It's okay. I'll give it away. I promise. But they know what I'm doing with it, so they don't mind. They know it's not going to wind up on eBay or something. It's just straight up. And even, I've always been an autograph collector since I was a little kid, so I understand, why people like that. And I hate seeing people have to pay to get somebody's signature. So if I can make it as a giveaway, great for them. So that's just something I like to do.
Again, that volunteer spirit, it's something that is so ingrained in true fans in the Knoxville market. We can't say thank you enough for all the support and exuberance and fandom that you bring. And we're very excited to connect with you in the future for our tailgates as well. You be on the lookout.
Yes, ma'am.
We'll get you connected with some new players and see what we can do to make sure that you stay connected in the Knoxville market. Thank your mother, by the way, for that suit. Thanks, Mom. We appreciate you. And we're going to start to follow Santa_VOL. That's volunteer, Santa_Vol. Santa, thank you so much for being with us today. And everybody that listens into our podcast, I'm Julia Hurley, connecting Knoxville to the nation. Until next time.
Thank you for tuning into the show. Make sure to like and subscribe. Leave a 5-star review on your podcast player of choice. And if you would like information on moving to Knoxville, send me a private message. As always, this is Julia Hurley, connecting Knoxville to the nation.